Hi, I'm Ed Berberian, Marin County District Attorney. I am standing outside the Jeanette Prandi Children's Center, a multidisciplinary forensic interview center. In better terms, a safe haven for kids. Completing an interview of a child is critical to successfully prosecuting cases of alleged molestation. Yet more importantly, the interview needs to be done in a safe, friendly, caring manner for the well-being of the child. The Prandi Center fills that need by not being an ordeal for children, but rather a first step towards healing. California law requires multiple agencies investigate allegations of child sexual molestation. Even though a young victim may be suffering from post-traumatic stress, shame, or fear, without the Prandi Center, several agencies would need to re-interview the child, often adding to their trauma.
Children benefit and need this kind of center to make this experience as least upsetting and distressing as possible. When a child is asked to recount the story of what occurred to them when they were abused is traumatic. And so what we're trying to do is ensure that that child does not need to be re-traumatized by recounting the story a second time. We have to be respectful that this takes a lot of courage for a child to come forward and talk about this. And for them to be treated in a respectful and a humane way will benefit not only the case, but also their ability to recover from the experience they had that they were perpetrated on.
Traditionally, as many as 6 different agencies would need to conduct interviews, forcing abused kids to relive the traumatic experiences over and over again, compounding the lasting mental and physical wounds. This center alleviates the additional stress by providing a child-friendly, safe atmosphere with a single age-appropriate interview. A team of experts drawn from legal and social service agencies meets before each interview to share information and set goals. The interview is then conducted by a single representative trained in child investigation skills, chosen to make the child most comfortable through the interview process. While the interview is conducted, it is observed by the rest of the team, as well as recorded for use in any eventual legal proceeding. Also available at the center are resources and services for the child and their family. When abuse is suspected to have occurred up to 72 hours prior to initial law enforcement involvement, the child would have had a medical exam in an area hospital in the days prior to the interview. Now, the Jeanette Prandi Children's Center does have a medical room fully equipped to complete a non-acute medical exam. This holistic approach is an excellent step in healing, especially while moving through the legal process. The single recorded interview process not only increases the benefit to the victim, the interviews obtained are more useful to the prosecution, prompting early pleas of guilt and thereby reducing court costs.
Well, it's much more effective to have what the child says recorded on videotape rather than having to have police recount what the child said, so you have an absolutely perfect rendition of what the child's saying. And most of the time, anecdotally, when the defendant sees these tapes, or sees the tape that involves the child that he molested, allegedly, they're so shamed that often they just plead guilty.
Well, actually, it happened in 1991. I was reading the Rotarian magazine, and there was an article about a facility in Hawaii, in Honolulu. And it seemed to me that something like that probably should be needed in our own community, even though we don't like to talk about it. So I investigated with the Honolulu Club, got a video of what they had, became more and more interested. I met with Dr. Grogan, and we talked at some length about the needs of the community and what we might be servicing and so forth, talked with people in Health and Human Services, Child Protective Agencies and so forth, some officers, police officers. And we turned it over basically to the county to see what they could do with the project.
What an amazing community Marin County is. Michael Grogan and I started trying to develop a support system. We got the police to be involved and had the chiefs of police, first of all, buy on to the concept, which was very important. Then Michael and I went on tour, so to speak, to every Rotary meeting that we could find, every school meeting we could go to, and many, many different projects in order to get them to support the center. And between the time we started and the time we finished, we raised $200,000.
Well, it first started with a phone call from then District Attorney Paula Kamena to describe the project, what she had in mind. She was very interested in obtaining the assistance of the Builders Association. We are a contractor and a construction trade association with architects and engineers and all of that. And I said, put it in writing and I'll bring it to our board of directors. Be specific, what do you want? And she did. I brought her request to our board of directors and they unanimously embraced it. No hesitation, none whatsoever. We had a lot of qualified tradespeople, generals and subs who volunteered their times on weekends and holidays. I think most of the labor that went into this was volunteer.
This center is a dream that I've had for many, many years. And every time I walk down the pathway of the center, it just makes my heart sing. I am so proud and happy that this facility is here for these children to give them a better start on the road to recovery.
The center is named for Marin County Sheriff's Deputy Jeanette Prandi, who was the first female deputy in Marin and dedicated her almost 30-year career to victimized children. Opened in April of 2000, the center is the realization of many dedicated volunteers and local Marin law enforcement agencies.
During the time that we were establishing this center, we were looking for a location and we're going around different places, and we had a team of people helping us. Two of the sergeants in the sheriff's office came to my office one day and said, we found the perfect location and let's call it the Jeanette Prandi Children's Center. And it was very touching. She worked in child sexual assault for many, many years. And very sadly, just before we established the center, she had died of cancer. And I'm just thrilled that this center is named after her. Jeanette has a brother whose name is Jack Canziani. He's a retired captain from the San Rafael Fire Department. He's also a master electrician. Jack did all the lights in the center and did a fabulous job. Also, the entire Canziani-Prandi family was here for the opening ceremony, and her mother, Mrs. Canziani, cut the ribbon for the opening of the center. It was just wonderful.
The center came together through years of planning and fundraising, conceived by a public-private partnership between the District Attorney's Office, the Family Service Agency, Child Protective Services, and the Marin County Police Chiefs Association. Over $500,000 was raised to make the center fully functional.
Well, it's actually unfortunate that, we didn't think of it sooner. I mean, because when you think about, working with children and, all of the sensitivities around that, that they've been victimized, that they're involved in, a system that they're not used to and they probably could never get used to, and to just bring them into a police building or the sheriff's office, that's really kind of a foreign deal, and I think it's great to be able to have a place that we can take them that kind of mimics the environment that they're used to, and has a group of trained professionals, to deal with them and to make what they're going through a lot easier.